we have amongst us ETs living not only on terrestrial land, but underneath the earth. I'm only aware of about 4 of these ET civilizations that I am been exposed to, I'll say, that are living, amongst us.
Aquatic ETs?
Very
basically?
aquatic ETs. They don't come to the surface because they cannot handle too much light. They're very sensitive to light. But even though they're very high conscious, they're very simple creatures.
The Hopi Indians talked about ant people. Are we talking about the same thing here?
Yes.
Do they look like ants? Big ants?
Yeah, they're segmented, but they do have arms, and they do have a face like we do.
We've heard of ET civilizations living on Earth in our ancient past, but is it possible there are ET civilizations living underground or some hidden areas on Earth this very moment? Welcome back to Cosmic Disclosure, Emery Smith. Emery, this is exciting.
It is, and it's something that needs to be brought to the world's attention, because we have amongst us ETs living not only on terrestrial land, but underneath the earth. There's civilizations that have been here for a very long time, that have thrived and still stay here and work in conjunction with some human people and sometimes not. It depends on the different civilization that you're referring to.
What are they doing here?
Well, they've been here for a long time. They've been here before we were here, before we actually, started up and started building buildings and populating the earth. And they have their own, it's like their own home, just like, what are we doing here? It's our home. We consider planet Earth our home, and they have their own home too. And there's different types of biospheres that are located all around the planet, inside, deep within the Earth, that have their own atmospheres and have their own bioluminescent technologies and can grow their own food. And also, you have to understand, they're a little bit more higher tech than we are. So they have their own portal travel system where they can go amongst the stars and other planets and things like this. They're not driving around in cars, that's for sure.
These ET civilizations, how many are there down under?
I'm only aware of about 4 of these ET civilizations that I am been exposed to, I'll say, that are living, amongst us and underground facilities that they have created that are not our facilities. And some of these are craft that have been teletransported into different parts of the earth and different parts of the mountain ranges and things like this. And of course, a lot of these are located on national parks and things like this, and in very desolate areas like the bottom of the oceans and Antarctica and things like this.
My gosh, how many are we talking about in terms of the entities? Thousands, millions? How many?
Yeah, there's over probably a few million that I'm aware of that are constantly coming and going, though. You have to understand, these extraterrestrials are that have been here for a very, very long time are going back and forth and trying to help with information, and they're not here to really intervene with us, but they are here to protect the earth, and they are here to help the earth in case something happens. When cataclysmic events happen, it's very interesting when there's a tsunami. There's so many UFO reportings.
Sure.
It's always interesting when a volcano erupts, people start reporting UFOs at a higher percentage that would normally happen.
But the tsunami still occurs, the volcano still erupts. It's not like they put a thumb down it and stop it. Why don't they get involved like
Well, they do. It could have been a lot worse, I'll just say. So they do work on, they have special physics and energies and sciences that we don't understand yet that can help the earth heal itself and actually mend these cracks, under the oceans and things like that. That would be a catastrophe for all of us.
Emery, of these 4 types that you say are living on this planet, what do they look like?
Well, one is a reptilian race that's been here for quite a while. And there's many different kinds of reptilians, by the way. And people come to me, actually look at this as, oh, well, this is the evil, demonic race of this, and this. And you have to understand, it's just like humans. Like when I say someone looks like, someone from the ocean, there's many different versions of that. It's like, well, how many, what do humans look like? And then, if you were to ask me that, well, look how many different races there are of humans.
God, absolutely.
And it's the same thing with extraterrestrials. whether they're the tall whites or, the smaller,
the little alien grays with
the
the
little
big black eyes.
Right, exactly.
I think they're robots, by the way.
Those
Something
are
like that.
programmed life forms. You're absolutely right. Those are been designed not only by us but by other extraterrestrial civilizations to carry out special missions and to also visit Earth and check on things, just do some recon, or take some DNA from the animals. So in case something does happen, they have a storage of this. Because you wouldn't want to send yourself there. You'd rather send your cyborg self there to do it
first.
Because because they're not wanted here. And we have to be, understand that since they are not wanted here by some of these government states, that they're going to die and they're going to be killed. And that's why a lot of these beings that are captured self-destruct, or they'll put them in containers that they instantly melt down to liquid, and this is just because they're not real.
Do all governments know, and are they aware of the fact that they're here? Through the programs you've been in.
Yes,
but how many groups know this?
Oh no, all the countries pretty much know this.
They know this.
If you go and look back at all of the amazing files that just recently, within the last decade, all the countries have released their UFO files.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the biggest stories, but no one talks about it. No one even mentions these on documentaries at all. Of course, my colleagues that are in this community and your colleagues, they know, and they've studied this. But there's been one country that will not release the documents.
Hello.
And why is that?
That's a good point. You mentioned that they walk among us. Do they shapeshift? How do they blend in?
Well, no. They're human. Like I said, they're human. They have human DNA, but there are these types of shapeshifters, and they can change into anything. They can make themselves look like an animal. They can make themselves look like any type of ET race. They have the ability to change their atomic structure into almost anything. Kind of like you see are they like chameleons? Yeah, they're like chameleons.
They have that ability.
But these are very highly evolved light beings, by the way. They're not here in a malevolent way. They're not like us. They're completely different than we are. They only do things to serve humanity and to serve the universe and to, serve the planets and things like this.
So, Emery, you've mentioned the reptilian race, and you've mentioned that there's a race that looks somewhat human. What about the other two?
Well, there's like ones that live in the ocean, and they've been there, I think, probably the longest.
Aquatic ETs?
Very
basically?
aquatic ETs. They don't cover the surface because they cannot handle too much light. They're very sensitive to light. And they have very large eyes, and they have a very bluish white body. Some have gray bodies, some have a black color body. And they are anywhere from 3 to 7 feet tall. They have webbed types of feet that are not jointed at the ankles, kind of like a little flipper. They have this beautiful fin, though, that covers their arms that are not very long. It's a membrane that sticks out like a fin, but it moves very fluidly.
Where do they come from? Are these earthbound creatures? Were they always here?
Oh, we call these, the ones that live in the water, we call them the aquafarians. And we do believe they came from another water planet, and that they have the ability to also have teletransportation and things like this. But they also have a lower mindset, but even though they're very high conscious, they're very simple creatures.
Well, how did they get here? In a craft of some type?
Well, I don't know how they got here. All I know is they are here, and we are monitoring them, and we've been monitoring them for some time. And I even have heard that one of these creatures was actually found by the military, and I saw the pictures and the videos of these beings. But in the databases, there's a huge amount of this information about this race, and we're not interfering with them. We're treating it more of like a biology thing where we're just watching them and studying them and trying to understand, like you say, where they're coming from. We do have their DNA.
But they're intelligent rather than being more fish-like. They're more human-like.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. The intelligence from what we have gathered is obviously they're intelligent, but they're simple.
How did we come across them? Did we just stumble across them? Was there some program?
Well, no, we had created our own types of submarines that were reverse engineered from extraterrestrial craft that can form their own energetic density field of a magnetic flux field around these types of craft that can go into very, very deep waters, deeper than what you see at National Geographic and these other...
All right, deeper than our traditional submarines.
Right. And they also have drones that can go very, very deep and run on their own for weeks at a time, and then come back and report, and we can see all the recordings, and we can see the data that has collected in many different wavelengths of light that we can't see with our own eyes. These supernatural cameras that they have on these craft can record in complete darkness for a very long distance. And things are now evolving to come out to the public. Like people are now having their own submarines, and other organizations are now traveling to the depths, and they're starting to see things. They're starting to see, gigantic sharks. They're starting to see fish that are transparent, that you can see their brain. Things like this, which is amazing. I mean, if the stuff they're showing is going to really open the eyes for the general public to realize that we are not the only ones, when we're just discovering new creatures and fish every day.
Are these ETs friendly, or is there a potential problem?
As far as I'm concerned, and as far as my experience with this, they're very, very friendly.
All of them?
Well, the ones that I've worked with.
Okay.
I'm sure, it's a very big possibility, of course. The universe is large, I know of one horrible ET race that is not very nice. And,
What do they do? The horrible
It's the Earthlings. We are the ones.
Us? You think we're the bad ones?
Yeah, we are the bad ones. If we're not taking care of each other, not taking care of the planet, and we're chopping each other's heads off, that's not, a normal conscious thing to do. And to fight over something, and to have, to mislead young people into going into war, to think they're fighting for, something, and having them on the front line, and having them killed off for a corporation to make money is wrong.
Well, do these ETs, Emery, think there's something wrong with us? Because you're absolutely right. We are a warring group of people on this planet. These ETs, if they're benevolent, must come here and see this and say, what's wrong with these things? What's wrong with these creatures?
It's exactly what they're doing, and that's why they care so much. These groups of ETs that are, monitoring the planet, that are monitoring us, making sure that, we don't blow up the planet. One nuclear bomb goes off, and it's really going to destroy the entire planet, just one of them. And that's why they're creating bombs now that can do as much damage as a nuclear bomb with no radiation, which is very scary. There are other planets out there that started like we did. And, back in, 1899 with Tesla's double field, where they created free energy already. And, the corporations came down hard on them.
They couldn't make money on it.
Right. So for the last, over 100 years now, we are been suppressed. We've actually could have imagined if back then we had anti-gravity and free energy, how beautiful and how clean this planet would look today, and how, maybe the differences between different races and countries would not be such an issue. I think science and the new physics that are coming out and the new sciences that are coming out are going to bring together, I think, the countries in a more peaceful environment. And also raising the consciousness of the planet is very important. And I think the ETs are actually doing this. I think the universe has energy that showers down upon us that allows us to elevate ourselves into a new state of consciousness every second. And you can see it in the children that are born today. They're just amazing. They're more intelligent. They're more compassionate. They're
caring.
They're caring, and it's important for the families of these children to support this positivity and not alienate anyone.
Why are we the dominant force on this planet? You would think these ETs would take over. How come?
Well, like I said, they're not warmongering like we are. What do we have that they need? Nothing. They can create anything they want. They can go anywhere they want. So they can just kind of hang out on vacation.
Why don't we go in war with them? Why don't we take them all out?
Well, we've tried to.
Oh, we have? What happened?
We tried to get some sarin gas in there, and that backfired, and many military guys were,
backfired on us?
That were killed, and they had gained a lot of technology from these ant people.
The Hopi Indians talked about ant people. Are we talking about the same thing here?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the Hopi Indians and all the tribes out there, including the 𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗧𝗪 tribes, and there's so many tribes up in New Mexico and southern Colorado that have, reported these things. They have history, actually kept history of this, and writings, and then of course on the rocks, depicting of these people.
Did they look like ants? Big ants?
Yeah, they're segmented, but they do have arms, and they do have a face like we do, but it is in the shape.
Big heads.
Yeah. They're very large. They have an exoskeleton, and that's what supports them. They don't have bones. I'm not sure exactly what it's made up, but they're exoskeleton, like an ant has, and they're very, of course, very smart, very industrious, and they have huge tunnel systems out in southwest of the United States and over in the Gobi Desert. And they have technology too, and they've been around for quite a while.
If you enjoyed this, make sure to watch the next video on AwakenZone. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, but you won't want to miss what's coming next.